Hello and welcome to another episode of I'd Amanda Homestead. Today we're starting something which is going to be super duper exciting, which is a renovation of our vegetable garden. Okay, so let me show you the way it looks now. This is it right now, and Ben I think needs to get past me, so I'm going to move. Okay. So this is it right now, all the way down to that shed down there. And what I have been noticing with this garden is a few different things that have kind of not been working out the way I want. For one thing, we've got this chain link fence, which is to protect it from rabbits and squirrels. Well, not really squirrels, but rabbits for sure, to try and keep them out of everything. Problem is that for one thing, the weeds kind of grow up through the fence, as you can kind of see here. And then they grow underneath, which creates a lot of problems around the edges. And then also it's really hard to get into this garden to put amendments on the soil, which makes it kind of difficult to do that, which I don't like. The other thing is that this year we had a really bad drought. And so I noticed that because our soil is really sandy, that even when we would get rain, it would just drain right through. Because the sandy soil uses up a lot more organic matter, even the amount of mulch that I put on there was just not enough. We're gonna put in some raised rows, some permanent rows. We got another plane coming. The reason why I'm gonna put in some raised rows is because that way I don't have to put my organic matter on the pathways. I can concentrate the organic matter and the mulch just on the beds where we really want it. And I'm gonna do some kind of lasagna type stuff, lasagna gardening stuff with that, which we'll explain a bit more. So we're gonna kind of take you through the process. So it's a beautiful sunny day and we are now on day 2 of our garden renovation, and let me show you where we got to. So, a lot of work with myself and my son and my husband. So we have taken out all the chain link fence and the hardware cloth that was around the base, and obviously I've taken out all the vegetables, which was a little bit sad for me because some of them I had to take out early, but that's okay. All right, here we are. This is the beginning of the 3rd day. And what we have done is we've trimmed there's still an awful lot of branches here, but anyway, we've trimmed a lot of the branches away that were kind of covering the garden or kind of arching over into the garden. We've leveled the soil kind of as much as was reasonable, and we've marked out the beds and the pathways, which is a little bit hard to see, but let me show you. Would have been better if this twine was a little bit brighter in color. But what we've done here is all the way along for our permanent rows, we've marked, they're going to be 30 inches wide, the beds, and then the walkways are 18 inches wide. All right, so we did that all the way along, which you can't see because it's really kind of pale in color. And then we've left about 2 feet from the fence post to where the beds start, and that's where I'm going to put down the silage tarp, or the kind of landscaping cloth, the heavy duty stuff, so that way the weeds won't be able to get over there. And then I've also at the back there's 1 foot from the fence, so I'm going to put more of that heavy duty landscaping cloth down there too. All right. It's a bit of a rainy day here today, but we're still gonna try and get a little bit of work done. So let me show you what's been going on. So we've got the kind of woody branches at the base of our what will be raised rows. We then kind of like hoed up the soil a little bit. Let me see if I get a little closer so you can kind of see, to create kind of like some walls almost around the rows, so that way we can add stuff on top of them now. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add some mulched leaves, and then on top of that we're going to add compost. Now, technically in lasagna gardening, you should be having 2 parts nitrogen to 1 part carbon. So nitrogen is the green stuff. So that would be things like green leaves, weeds, grass clippings, or anything else that's kind of high in nitrogen. And then the carbon stuff is anything that's basically brown, right? So leaves that have turned brown, like our mulch leaves, will be technically carbon. The branches are carbon, anything like that, okay? Or any weeds that have dried. All right, so it's another beautiful fall day, and our project continues. I'll show you kind of where we are. So here the raised beds are kind of really starting to take shape now. We've put about 2 inches of mulched leaves on top of them, and then we actually kind of have been putting compost on top of that. And so we've used kind of a whole bunch of different piles of compost in various kind of degrees of being finished, because that's what we had. We've got some compost from our composter, and then we've got some kind of piles of leaf mold. Then I'm gonna put some compost from the chicken run on there as well today to finish up these few beds. So I've seen online a lot of different people talking about ways to make compost and the proper recipe and turning it and all that stuff, but I have to say, if you're lazy, and I am lazy, the best way to make compost is by using chickens to do it for you. All right, so in here, it's my chicken run. I've got all my girls in the coop for now because I don't want them kind of getting in the way. I have put all my crop residues and weeds and whatever in the chicken run, and they scratch through it, they poop on it, they turn it over, and then I scrape away kind of what's on top, and then I dig it out, and this is what I have, okay? So if I'll just put on my gloves here, because I probably wouldn't put this on in the spring necessarily, because it may not be 100% mature, but I've dug down quite a bit. But if you look, this is just pretty much beautiful fertilizer, okay? I've never had a problem with this burning plants or anything like that, but I guess I get excited about this stuff. But anyway, and it's so kind of nice and soft and easy to shovel. If you're looking for, I'm gonna say, a foolproof way to make compost, get yourself some chickens. This is just a backyard shed that we kind of converted, and it just makes the best compost, and it's so easy, it's ridiculous. All right, so now I'm gonna put this on those other 2 beds. Just thought I'd stop and share a little bit of one of my favorite things. All right, we are back again, and oh my God, yesterday was a lot of work. We put 2 inches of topsoil on top of every single one of these beds. So that obviously was stuff that we bought and brought in. I don't anticipate needing to buy more topsoil because we're just gonna the beds are made now, and we'll just be adding organic material and compost on top of them now in years going forward. If you wanted to plant, if you're doing this in the spring, you could plant right now into these beds because I put topsoil on there. We're in the fall, so I'm not gonna do that. What we're gonna do now is, because it's a bad idea to leave your soil kind of uncovered, because the rains will leach away the nutrients and will wash away the soil. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put another little light layer, probably a couple of inches of more mulched leaves on top of these beds. And then the beds will basically be done and will decompose over the winter time and be super ready to plant in spring. Okay, so now we are on day, I don't even know, I'm losing track, whatever it is of our project. We have put down our leaf mulch. I've put down some cardboard in between the rows and the walkways. That way that'll help suppress the weeds. And then the last thing I'm going to do now is going to be putting on some straw mulch in between the pathways. So let's show you where we are right now with the project. So now I have just finished, which is perfect because the rain is just starting now. So I've got a layer of straw in between each raised bed, and this is going to flatten down quite a bit and make for nice kind of weed-free pathways. It will also help keep the leaves from blowing away, which is super important too, because again, as I said before, you don't want to have exposed soil. All right, so I got 3 bales of straw, and that was probably just about enough. And I had enough to put straw on my strawberry patch as well. Okay, it is finally finished. So let me show you what it looks like. This is the last thing we're going to do before winter, and then in the spring we'll get the electric poultry netting, and that's what we'll use to kind of keep out the critters. All right, so let me show you what it looks like. All right, here it is, all the way down. So what I've done now is got some landscape fabric, some really kind of tough woven landscape fabric. Get really close here, you can see it. You can see that it's woven so that it shouldn't fray and it also shouldn't tear. And then I've got garden staples that I attached it with. All right, and I did that all the way along. And the idea is that should keep down the weeds, because I always had trouble with weeds coming in from the path and also from the back where the forest is. So I've got, if we kind of walk over here, I've got a layer of cloth all the way down here too. Now it's only a foot. Hopefully that'll be enough. Otherwise I might have to go on the other side of this fence and kind of clear out the brush and put down more cloth there. I don't want to do that because that would be a lot of work, but I'll see how this works out. So, and then again, in the spring, we'll just put that poultry netting kind of all the way around this whole perimeter, all the way around. And that should keep out all the kind of squirrels and chipmunks and raccoons that have been getting at my tomatoes and my strawberries and my other vegetables. So I'm hoping that this is going to kind of really reduce the amount of pest pressure, and the raised rows are going to really kind of improve the fertility and the kind of moisture retention of the soil. So thank you for joining me on another episode of I Demand a Homestead. If you like this video, please feel free to press the subscribe button and also the notification bell so that way you'll know when I post another video. All right, guys, have a great day, and we'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.